Okay, so we had another NWA event, and I will say they do a fantastic job with these things. With them being about $20 if you buy it earlier, it's going to be cheaper. Not a fan that they did two really close to each other, but I mean, Hard Times was very, very well done. I loved the 6:05 time limits that they were doing for some of the matches, for their TV title matches. It made them really quick. I mean, they got through a ton of matches. They were good matches, just in very, very, very quick fashion. So Tim Storm, Ken Anderson didn't happen. Anderson wasn't there, so Storm got a bye. Dan Maff took on Ziggy Dice, and you saw a 300-pound dude. I was like, how far is he gonna make it? He got past Ziggy Dice. Okay. Question mark Trevor Murdoch. I thought, question mark's been undefeated. I could see him moving on. Nope. Two top rope pull dogs by Murdoch, and he advanced. I was like, wow. Murdoch taking on Dan Maff was just, they did a chop fest. You could just see just the blood vessel just broken up on the chest of Trevor Murdoch. And I was like, man, that's an intense second match. And Murdoch won. All right. Matt Cross versus Stroke Daddy, Tony Stark. Ricky Stark, sorry. Well, since you won a lot of matches, I guess you'd almost be an Iron Man. Good, fast-paced match. Again, with a 6-minute time limit, all these matches have very little downtime. He got past Matt Cross. Okay, got past M-Dog. And I was like, all right, he's taking on a fresh Tim Storm. I think Tim Storm's going to take him. He's going to beat Ricky Stark. Perfect Storm. Saw a lot of his big moves. I'm like, great, he's got this. Why didn't he go for the pin? Okay. Crucifix out of nowhere. 3. Oh. Starks versus Murdoch should be in your main event of the night. Okay. Great match for the main event. Good back and forth. Two guys who were just exhausted. When Starks hitting the stroke, getting the 1, 2, 3, being the first NWA television champion in over 20 years. That was impressive. You can tell that they see a lot of future in that kid, and I do too. He's very good at what he does for being at a very young age. It's like, you know what? He did a great match with Nick Aldis recently, and now he's the television champ. I'm like, you know what? That's good. The kid can make it work. Triple threat tag match. Rock and Roll Express. It's rough watching them work, but they still work really well. Seeing the team of Eli Drake and James Storm, as well as the Wild Cards. I like how their triple threat matches are a member of each team's in the ring, not just two people. They're also very smart, too, that they took out Gibson. I've seen him so often, I'm so used to just saying, Morton and Gibson, that I forget which one is which. But it was smart seeing, Gibson outside the ring for the majority of the match. It allowed the two younger competitors to actually, work a longer style match. And then we got after Canadian Destroyers, I love the Rock and Roll Express Canadian Destroyers because you can tell that they're like, okay, now jump with me. Because there's very little propulsion out of those bodies. But, I'm pretty sure if you're someone who's wrestling and you can be in the ring with those guys, it's a mark-out moment anyways. And Eli Drake, James Storm, new champions. It's like, okay, we got sort of at least two new champions, because you had the tournament and you had that tag title match. Marty Scurll was able to get the Flip Gordon Nick Aldis match changed from exhibition to a title match, which was your second main event. I like how William Patrick Corgan is like, well, if you have running buddies, no, I want a clean canvas. I don't want somebody to be like, oh, well, this match was won because there's nothing. No, he wants Flip Gordon to take on Nick Aldis for the title. If Aldis wins, he gets to call his shots when he does the Ring of Honor, taking on Marty Scurll. Marty acquiesced to that and then left so Flip Gordon could get a shot at the title. Great back and forth. I mean, this was a really solid match. These days, this is probably... It's weird to say that Nick Aldis wasn't my favorite match of the night, but I'm getting to it. Nick Aldis was able to pretty much just reverse a move, hold him down, get a 3 count. Just really, really solid match. I can tell why Nick Aldis is the standard bearer for the NWA. So, favorite match of the night. The women's title match between Thunder Rosa and Allison Kay was brilliant. What I love about the NWA is they have this really solid way of putting together a match with high impact moves, basic moves, and very little like, oh, now we're going to do big move, no sell, big move, no sell. It's more like, here's your big move, but I've hit a big move earlier, so I'm kind of tired. I like the selling of the arm injury, which really came into play later on in the match, with Thunder Rosa working Allison Kay's arm. And I like how they hit spots where, they began just wailing on each other. They hit a mid spot. Until they're tired, wailing on each other. They get towards the end. So much animosity, they begin to wail on each other yet again. And seeing Allison Kay hit her finisher. Try to go for the cover, but can't use her arm to hook the leg. Reposition, fold the arms, try to pin again, but can't hook the leg because of the arm damage. I'm like, that's some good, that's some smart wrestling. And Thunder Rosa got the victory, to the elation of the crowd. And then, of course, Melina came down in the ring, as did Marty Bell. And it was an incredible women's match, which now means out of the 3 different companies that I watch, I think that NXT, either proper or UK, put on some of the best women's matches. Raw and SmackDown, depending who's in the ring, they do a really good job. But I'd probably say WWE is first. That's probably because, they've got 5 shows every single week. They put on some solid women's wrestling. Then NWA, because they do really good matches, and this is something that's standard bearer for their division right now. And that's AEW is at the bottom of that. You can tell they're trying to do some things with their women's division, but it's just not as good, and it's not a real big focal point for them from a company standpoint. The match between Thunder Rosa and Allison Kay was like 13 weeks in the making. And they did a really good job with it. They built a nice storyline where it's, well, I'm the champ. Here's the new near unstoppable up and comer. She pairs it with Melina. Okay. They did a turn where a best friend side of Thunder Rosa. Okay. Then they brought in Melina, so out of sequence. But then working that into a different, fuse, like, oh, you're gonna face ODB. Fine. Have Melina go, oh, you want Thunder Rosa? I want Thunder Rosa. For the title? Yeah. Pay-per-view? Yeah. You gotta win a no DQ match. Wait, what? Yes, the champion had to win a match to have a match with the challenger. Mind games. But, again, really, really well done. If you're not watching NWA, it's on YouTube. You're on YouTube right now. I mean, it's really easy to watch. The studio feel is fantastic. I like that when you watch the regular show, Power, there's no theme music. So it just goes from like one segment to the next. When you watch their pay-per-view events, there's very little doubt. They might be like, oh, well, here's some footage as to why this is going on. And it'll be clips from some interviews and then maybe a little bit in ring. But it's short. It's not like skip 5 minutes, get to a match. And the next event is going to be in April for the Crockett Cup. So again, tag team tournament. So that means they've done one straight event. Hard Times was a tournament. Crockett Cup's a tournament. I dig tournament-based wrestling because it allows you to get through a lot of matches. And the storyline is really simple. Well, I want to be the winner of this. Okay. Win the match, advance. Lose the match, go home. It's really simple. So again, NWA did a really fantastic job. If you're not watching them, it's pretty easy to squeeze them into what it is you watch during the week of professional wrestling. And their big events flow so beautifully well.